Smart 24, driving business.
TV. There we are. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to yet another Fat Talks this Thursday. And I'm very excited because it is holiday time. And let me start by wishing success to all the candidates. We have so many of them right now that are sitting exams. We also wish success to their parents. A parent told me that when their children are doing exams, they feel like they're the ones doing the exam. And as we get prepared for the long holidays for S4, P7, S6, and any other, holidays that are coming up, even for the ordinary children, they're also going through a long holiday. I think they're going to end in November and they'll next go to school in February. So we here at the Fidelis Leadership Institute, sponsored and hosted by Smart 24 TV. We are currently live on YouTube. We're also live on DSTV, and we are live on Twitter Spaces. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We traditionally have our FAT Talks, which stands for Faithful, Available, Teachable. We believe that we Africans have to be the solution to the problems that we see. We need to be the change that we want to see. And we believe that thought leadership is one of the ways in which we can transform each other. Our thought leadership is done in such a way that we look for ethical leaders, because ethics is huge. It's been a crisis for Africa, it's been a crisis for Uganda, and it has deeply undermined all the developmental initiatives that most governments, especially Uganda, have put in place. So we believe that if we deal with the issue of ethics, if we get ethical leaders who've made it, then we will be able to debunk the theory that it is the wicked that prosper. Today with us we have a parenting expert, and our topic is exciting. It's holiday breaks. How shall we celebrate? How do we learn? And how do we prepare? It can be a trying time for a parent who's not ready, having teenagers in the house. It's not only your refrigerator that will suffer, but how do you manage things like social media? There's so many disruptions right now with social media, digitalization, the workplace environment, the family dynamics that have changed. There's so many broken homes that parenting becomes a nightmare during holidays. And today we have with us Mrs. Lydia Nyesigomwe, who's a renowned parenting expert. She's a country representative for Holt International Children's Services. She is a mother. She has fantastic children, including Dirain, the celebrity, and has been working with children for the last 23 years. I think she's been parenting for more than that. And she's worked with both international and national NGOs, and she's the founder of Parenting Uganda.
That's right.
An organization that supports parenting in raising purpose-driven children. I think at the Fidelis Leadership Institute, this is just right up our alley. She serves on several NGO boards. She's a governance expert in that area and is currently the chairperson of UCRNN, which is an organization that brings together 193 child-focused organizations in the country. Lydia's love and passion for children is unmatched, and she loves the Lord. She enjoys singing. I hope she'll give us a sample today, and is extremely social and enterprising. I'll testify to this. I met Lydia in a program called Pillars, and she is as warm as she is intelligent. She is as truthful as she is kind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Lydia Nyesigomwe.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hello, our viewers. Good evening. I think it's good evening.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here. Fiona, it's such a blessing and a pleasure to be with you, to meet you. We've been lost from each other
for quite a while.
Time,
yes.
But I know you've been occupying very important spaces. I follow you on a daily, and I really want to appreciate, you know, the work that you do.
Yeah.
Especially now with this fat talk, you know, it's very, very inspiring, and I know that we share the passion of serving young people.
Yeah.
Now you come in the area of leadership, which is also an important part. As we raise our children, we have to raise purpose-driven leaders.
Yeah, leaders.
Children who will become leaders.
Yes.
And that's very important for our country. So I'm really delighted to be here, and thank you for the kind and warm welcome that you have extended. Yes.
Thank you, Lydia. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Fiona Wall from Fidelis Leadership Institute, and I also want to say hello to Smart 24 TV and thank them for sponsoring us. So, Lydia, you have been a strong advocate for purpose in a child's life, and just before we get into who Lydia is, we'll get there. And I want this to be the hook that shows people why we're doing this. How important are holidays in a child's life, especially in a busy environment right now with homework and everything? Because sometimes I don't feel like the school term, even with a day scholar, has a lot of time. How important do you think the parenting process is important? How important is it in the holiday?
In the holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think that's a very important question to discuss. First of all, home is supposed to be a resting place for children, and not only children but also we as parents. Home is supposed to be that place where children can find love, where children can find comfort, where they can relax and be free and be who they are, away from the busy schedule that we have just talked about, of what we know that goes on a daily in the children's lives. It should be that environment that makes a child, you know, thrive and survive and be who they want to be. And so it is important that when they get into these holidays, first of all, as parents, we need to prepare for them before they come. I want you to think about how we prepare when the children are going to school. We really go through a lot.
That's a very good point.
Yes, we do a lot of, you know, lists with them. We do
save money,
and then we do the shopping. We make sure that we prepare for. That's what actually rings in their minds.
Yes.
But when it is time to come back home for holidays, what do you prepare?
They actually happen to us like an accident.
Yes.
Yes.
And actually, most of the parents, you hear them saying, "Oh, it's holiday time again. They are coming home." It ceases being that rejoicing time,
place,
where you're going
reunion.
to receive your children and you're going to be together again as a family. And I think that's what children are missing. The excitement of us receiving them back should be more than the excitement of sending them away to go to school.
You've really rebuked me as a parent. I love my children and I miss them dearly, and I'm really happy when they come for holidays. But as you've said, we've let it happen like an accident. So Lydia, as a parent, how would you advise someone to prepare? Because you've given examples, but I think this is a very novel area, I'm sure, for many Ugandans.
It is something that we should talk to them about. It is something we should discuss with the children. When they are going back to school, we sit them down. Actually, these days there are spaces where parents take their children so they can be talked to before they go back to school. So why don't we create time and always have a discussion that prepares them to come to school?
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, they won't meet our expectations, and we will not meet their expectations. So it is something that we need to put into our family culture, that as you come home, we are excited. This is home, and this is what we expect from you, and this is what you should expect from us. So in preparation, one is for both parties to think about what they want to do. Parents, what do you want to do, or what do you want to achieve with the children? Fiona will tell you that most of the parents, as soon as holiday starts like this, they are looking for coaching.
They're looking for where to put the children. Coaching.
They are looking for
soccer club.
But they have not even discussed it with the children. They even don't know the interests of the children. They don't know how the term has been, how tired the children are, how stressed.
You're preaching tough today.
But these are the things, Fiona. And then when they come, because we have not talked about it, they have their expectations, we have our expectations.
And
we've not come together to connect. We clash.
Absolutely.
We clash. Okay, so the one day in the house, maybe the first day you're excited, it's a nice meal. The next day, 1 week into holiday, parents are already fed up.
Wow. Thank you, Lydia. So parents, you're listening, plan.
Yes.
But don't plan alone.
Exactly.
Plan with the subject or the beneficiary of said planning, please.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that important. It's very important. So planning for holidays, preparing for holidays, budgeting. Planning, of course, involves budgeting. You're going to have all these children home. I remember the funny stories. We used to do online sessions with parents during COVID, and I enjoyed those ones because parents were like, when is this going to be over, so that the children can go back to school. So that, you know, the food issue comes up. Of course, the utility bills go a little bit high. Of course, we expect parents to be a little bit stressed because they are going to spend a little bit more. But
even time.
The time, that one is another issue now. If you go into time, allocating time to the children so that at least you can be with them, the little time they are home is also another issue. So that planning is key.
Very key. Wow, thank you, Lydia. Now, in raising purpose-driven children, that's your mantra, and I love it so much.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to recruit my children into whatever program you have. I have actually done so before.
Yes, you've done,
and I've benefited greatly. I think one of your programs helped my children figure out what their personalities were, and that was really fantastic. And it's helped me, understand them. So, purpose-driven children, where do you start even? And at what age is it important? Is it when they're little, or is it too late for a parent of teenagers who's listening and has never done this? How do you instill purpose in a child? And I want to relate it to one of your testimonies that you talk about sometimes. Raising a child who doesn't seem to be going the way you want them to be going. And you don't understand what you did wrong, and So how do you instill purpose in the children that maybe are easier than most? But then also, how do you redirect a lost child?
Someone who has gone off track. Very interesting. You raised about 4 issues in this. But building purpose in children starts with you and me as parents. It starts with you and your husband. It starts with you before you even get married. Problem is that we want to start when we have started seeing gaps in children. So Fiona, before you got married, I love your family. I've met your husband. I know you have very beautiful children. But I'm so sure that in you, you had a dream of a family you wanted
that I wanted.
Yes.
Many dreams.
Many dreams. But many times we don't write those things down, and so we keep shifting.
From that dream.
From that dream.
Or the dream changes.
Or the dream changes.
Yes.
But it is important that you start from that early.
Yes.
Before you even have children. And I'm not saying that it's late, you cannot do anything even after children. You can do a lot.
Yes.
Because their parents...
But it's great. You're talking to people. Some of them haven't had children. I see some of my people here on Twitter. We salute you all.
Yes.
And I think some of them haven't had children.
That's right.
Oh, I see Charity from Pillars. Greet you, Charity. Thank you for being online.
Yeah.
Yes.
So starting early and writing a vision of the kind of family you want to raise, the children you want to raise, the direction you want
to go.
Okay, it's very important. I am an early childhood development expert. I'm sure you know that.
Yes.
And I learned from day one that parenting starts even before you become a parent. Parenting starts when you have when you are expecting and you are pregnant. Yes. Parenting goes on up to now, even us who have sons and daughters that are married, we are still parenting with them, we are parenting grandchildren. Yes. So it goes on and on and on. So to raise purpose-driven children, you need to have a purpose yourself. If you have no purpose, and if your purpose is not well defined, trust me, it's going to be difficult to raise a purpose-driven child. Yes. Your parents should have had a purpose in a way.
In raising you.
In raising you. Okay? So I will put it back to Christian values, and I'm not saying that, you know, we are the best in raising children. Maybe I'll talk about godly values. How do we teach our children godly values? Yes. Okay? Because the Bible tells us very clearly that when we train our children at an early stage, when they are still young, it is always difficult for them to divert from such values. Yes. Though it has happened, sometimes they do, but they will still come back, especially if you continue following up on them. So it is a journey that you need to start at an early stage. That is number one. Yes. Number two, every stage of the way has its requirements, or it has its own demands, meaning that you have to be involved in every stage of your children as they grow up. Because the way I am going to explain our purpose as a family to a 1-year-old is going to change definitely when I'm explaining to a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old who is leaving nursery and joining primary, and a 10, 11-year-old who is leaving primary and joining secondary, and maybe an 18, 17-year-old who is going to join A-level and later on to university. Yeah. So you have to be consistent. You have to be intentional on how you instruct these children, and you must be committed to work with them. Parenting does not stop, and we should not get tired. So purpose-driven, you have to intentionally work with your children all the way.
And they must know the purpose.
And they must
communicate it.
You should, if possible, print it out and put it in your house, there. Even in their room.
You know, you're giving me homework.
And keep reminding them as they grow, and work with them. Thirdly, keep reminding yourself as a parent that you are the role model.
That's a hard one.
Fiona, you're not going to teach me that purpose when you yourself are not living the purpose.
Yes.
I can go on and on and on. So it's a process.
It's a process
that you have to build one day at a time, from one age group to another, from boys to girls, from childhood to teenagehood to youth.
You know, you make a very good point. There is a WhatsApp that's moving around, actually
Yes.
two of them that's
Yeah.
really disturbing. I think a parent or a teacher interacted with various 9-year-olds. I think it was
9 to
12-year-olds, and asked them, you know, to just speak.
Yeah.
And share. No, I think he gave them pieces of paper and the things they wrote.
I saw that.
And allow me to shock you with some of the things they wrote. There were children who were having sex with their siblings.
Yes.
There were children who were being defiled at home.
By
there were
relatives.
children who were experimenting with homosexuality. There were children who were smoking and abusing drugs. This is between 9 and 12, and this
On
is in
phone,
Uganda.
on social media.
On phone, watching pornography with parents. Some of them said their parents are watching it, so they watch it. Some of them said their parents are having intimate moments in front of them. Some of them said their parents are fighting. Actually, the most common thing was for mommy and daddy to get along, you know? And he asked them, what are some of the things you'd like to see change? One, for mommy and daddy to get along, not to fight so much. For them to spend time. So our children actually want time. And you're very lucky when you're at a stage when your child wants your time. At some point, they move away. So Lydia, when it comes to the issue of, I liked what you said, that you can't teach purpose unless you have it yourself. The issue of ethics, because I think even what we're talking about, these things that the children are seeing from their parents, they do as they see. So how do you, there are those invisible values that we need to instill in our children. And the Fidelis Leadership Institute, we believe that ethics is not something that you teach. It's something you have to, should I say, instill. Keep drumming, keep you know, encouraging.
You have to live it.
And you have to live it. How do you communicate that when you're a parent? And in your organizations, the ones you supervise, but also your parenting organization, how do you help parents pass on values to their children?
In your question lies very good answers, because based on the discussion that has gone viral on social media, the children themselves were telling us what they are missing and what they want to see.
Time.
A child saying, I want more time with my mommy and my daddy. A child saying that I don't want to be shouted at. I want to be addressed
like a human.
Like a human. I want to be talked to nicely. I want to see mom and dad get along. I don't want to see them fight. I don't want these parents to compare me with others.
That is also a common one.
Yes. And, you know, those are some of the things that are missing in our homes. So it is important that as parents to live all those values, to practice them. I don't know whether to practice them or to be intentional, like I said, but we are modeling behavior, okay, from an early age. And children see, you know, they learn best when they see, not when they are told. Exactly. You are not going to tell me do this and this when actually you are not doing this. And you brought up a very interesting point. Now, when you take it to leadership, we are facing a lot of challenges as leaders. It is a serious crisis.
I mean, you're bribing the cop while the child is looking.
Exactly. So
at the end, they don't know.
They do. At the end of the day, what kind of leaders are we raising? They are not going to be good leaders at all because they have missed out on examples that they need to emulate. So we have to walk that talk. We have to know that God has given us a very, very strong responsibility to lead our families first
before we lead others.
We lead others.
That's a good one. Give me 5 years.
If I fail to lead my family,
yes,
there's no way I'm going to lead others.
That is true.
And guess what? Not many of us are managing.
No, we are not. I think it's very evident because the family is the primary unit of any community. And I think that right now the ethical and moral crisis we're suffering is because the family unit is under serious attack.
Yes.
And sometimes I think that our inability to focus on it, you know, when someone is standing for member of parliament, people are asking about their family and they really hate that. They're like, oh, don't pick on me because of my family. But I think it's an important thing that if you're not, what you said, and I hope they quote you out there, you know, if you're not leading your family, you have no business leading anybody else.
No.
Because it should start at the unit.
So if I may just chip in before you leave that point, what opportunities are we giving our children to lead? Because not everyone is going to be a leader at school.
Wow, that's a good one.
What opportunities are you giving your child?
To lead.
To lead.
Yes.
Do you even listen to them? Do you consider their...
Do they participate in the governance of the family?
Governance, their decision making? Of course, I'm not saying they take over, but do we really give them an opportunity?
Do we look
is there a space at home?
Yes.
Is there a platform?
Interesting. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's a very, you're making me think many thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're thinking many, many thoughts right now. Those of you that are parents, those are planning to be parents. But even if you're not a parent yet, I'm sure there's somebody you might be parenting.
Yeah.
Lydia, you've been in this business for over 25 years and you've been a parent for even longer. What are some of the challenges maybe you might have gone through that you might share with us, if you don't mind? Because sometimes when people look at you, they hear your experience, they look at your children, they'll be like, Lydia has no business telling me what to do, because for her it's been easy. You know, she has kind children like her, they're okay, they're prosperous, she's a grandmother. Yeah. By the way, this beautiful lady here is a grandmother, a very happy one.
Thank God. I thank God. The challenges. And
she loves children, so it's easy. So was it always easy?
No.
Yes.
It can never be easy. It is not easy. Parenting is one of the toughest things that, you know, God gave us to do, and to do on His behalf, because we have to do it the godly way. Yes. And the challenges have been many. First of all, I'll tell you that I became a parent when I was a little bit young.
I think that's obvious because you're very young. You must be the youngest grandmother in the country.
Not so young, but I was young in a sense that I was still in school.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
And I continued schooling.
Yes.
Like
university?
Yes, I was joining A-level.
Oh, that was really young.
Yes.
You were a teenager.
Yes. So, and I thank God that I got an amazing husband.
Oh, we give
really taken good care
stars
of me.
And claps to
he has allowed me to continue, you know, with my passion up to today. Yeah. So I became a parent at an early stage, and I was schooling. I became a mother. I started working.
That's a lot.
Okay. So that whole mix requires God's grace. You really have to be purpose driven, and you have to see how you can. You are a wife, your husband needs attention, okay?
A young wife who doesn't even know what it means.
Exactly. And then the children need you.
Yes.
But then you have to continue studying. You need a career, you have to work. So
you have dreams.
You have dreams, and that is something.
Yes.
That is number one. Number two, it is a daily responsibility. You have to parent every day.
You don't get days off.
You don't get days off. especially when you are in productive.
I was telling someone, I wish I could have an assistant mother.
No.
A deputy mother.
No. These helpers we see are only helpers. They come in to help, but they should not take on the responsibility of being a mother. You are the only mother your baby will always have.
Yes.
So yes, so that was number one. Number two, I had to make sure that I'm available for the family. Now, right now, you know that many mothers and fathers are absent for different reasons. We might not get into those ones, but you have to make sure that in all that mix, you are available.
Yeah, you need to be available.
Exactly.
Give time.
Exactly. So you talk of time, we have to provide time. We have to provide a conducive environment, that home.
Yes.
Regardless whether you have money, Fiona, or not. The environment at home is very, very important. The nurturing environment.
Yes.
Because Fiona, having 20 minutes with your children doesn't need money.
It doesn't need money.
No, it doesn't. But that special 20 minutes
might transform.
Thank you very much.
A big deal.
Thank you so much. So,
well, I wish we thought like you do. I think parents, you're hearing.
Yes.
Parenting can be.
And then the third one is to make sure that you make the right decisions at the right time.
Yes. And what does that mean, though?
Many times we kind of mix that.
That sounds like a very hard.
Make the right decisions at the right time. You and your husband, me and my husband are working. We all want to hold on to our jobs, and we end up, not agreeing on who should at least put more time into parenting than the other.
That's you're preaching a hard sermon. I'm sure some people here are, Cornelius has just given you a big fat heart. Thank you, Cornelius. Yeah.
So making those decisions, is it a time for you to upgrade, to do a master's? Is it the right time for you to accept a transfer?
Or a job out of the country?
Thank you.
Yes.
Is this the right time? Okay. Are there certain things that can wait?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I
understand what you mean. I have seen people sacrifice. I've seen people also take the decisions, and I've seen the cost. I think. Yeah. I have also taken decisions. But I thank God that I've turned away more opportunities than for parenting.
That's right.
On whether they'll pay off, we shall see. Yeah. But even the decision to take children to boarding school, and at what age?
Some of these opportunities are so enticing.
An international school, as opposed to,
like you get an offer. I remember a time Plan International gave me a very good offer to go and work in India.
You see?
And they were giving me this package where you can relocate and everything. And the contract was 5 years. And in me, I was quick to think, what happens after 5 years? And my husband, being the husband that he is, with all the business ideas and the plans and what, I knew he couldn't follow me. Yes. So I had to let go.
Oh, wow.
That's a big some of the things that we have to let go, we have to sacrifice, we have to...
Do you regret it?
Not at all. Not. There will always be opportunities.
I like that.
And when you weigh, then you would rather look at the family first.
Someone said we're all juggling balls, but about 2 or 3 of those balls are made of glass.
That's right.
So when you're dropping balls, you better not drop those 3.
Those 3.
Like you can't delegate parenting.
No, you can't.
And I liked what you said. You can always get jobs.
Yeah.
So you can drop that ball.
Yeah.
You can always get a study opportunity. You can always upgrade.
You can always upgrade.
I mean, I look at my mom. She really was there for us. She took a decision to stay home when I was 8, and she looked after us, and she did other businesses. But now she's going all over the world, enjoying, traveling, doing all sorts of things. And I'm thinking, wow. Yeah. So recently she told me, I want to go to Israel. We should go together. I told her, you know what? You waited. Yeah. I also need to wait. Yeah.
But she can travel.
She can.
You have grown up. Yeah. So that's perfect.
But I was telling her that, you didn't go to Israel when I was in primary school. Her. So these kids will need me. Yeah. So of course, it was probably an excuse. I could have taken 2 weeks away. But what I'm saying is, when do you drop these balls?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So did you ever drop any balls? And what would you say helped you recover? Because I think what kills parents the most is the guilt.
Yeah.
When you drop a ball, especially the decisions you take. I have a friend who took a decision to take their child to a certain school, and they had rumors about the school and what, but they believe this was the best education.
Yeah,
you know that thing.
Yeah.
And then their child got into drugs, and it took them about 4 years of rehab and so much. And I remember them saying, you know what? That was the worst decision I made. And I regretted it for 4 years. So how do you recover from a dropped ball?
Those are the mistakes that you were talking about.
Yes.
Yes, we make mistakes.
Yes.
I made a couple of them myself, because I remember there's one of the children that I had to put in a boarding school, and it didn't turn out well.
This was in primary or secondary?
Primary.
Oh.
And it was just too much, and we thought...
You were busy. And,
yes.
Yeah.
We thought maybe, we had of a good school, like you are saying, that we thought would really help, but it did not work out. And there are so many other, mistakes, bad decisions that parents
We all make them, yes.
But
how did you recover from that?
It took me a long time to recover. And every time something would happen, I would blame myself. Until one day, I was in this international conference on parenting, and a lady who was one of our chief guest, speakers, gave a testimony, a personal testimony, and shared her experience. And it was such an emotional experience. And she was calling on all parents to forgive themselves.
Oh, wow.
Forgive yourself.
Yes.
If you had ways out, you wouldn't have done this.
So forgive yourself. You did not mean to do it.
You didn't mean to. No mother, no father hates their children, by the way. Very few cases where parents will come and say, I hate you. But even with that, they would say it with frustration, and maybe they're going through a certain situation.
Absolutely.
But deep down, they love their children. So I forgave myself.
That's
and
nice.
Then there was, I think there was a book I read, 8 is Not Late or something, where the writer was saying that you can always pick up from where you left.
Ooh, I like that.
So if you felt...
what are you saying? Are you saying that...
If, for example,
there's
you
no
know that...
permanent breaking?
Yes. If you know you missed a certain stage in your child's life, it's not late for you to revisit that.
That's
chapter.
Powerful.
It is.
Please say it again so everybody can hear.
If you know that you missed a chapter in your child's life,
yes,
revisit that chapter with your child.
Amen.
There's a lot that you can recover.
So parents out there, please go and write down any places you think you might have missed.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's amazing. And, that particular child had a few challenges here and there, but right now, they're the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a beautiful testimony,
you have
Lydia.
to be intentional. You have you stop blaming yourself. You stop saying, I wish I did this, I wish I did. You can still do it.
So forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself.
You have second and third chances.
Yes. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah. You are human.
Yes.
Some of these things, the mistakes we make, are human. Some of them are circumstantial. We cannot do otherwise, but there will always be a chance.
There's another WhatsApp that's been going viral about millennials and how we were raised. You must have raised the millennial. And this thing was saying they would beat you for crying, they would beat you for not crying. They'd beat you because when they beat you, you didn't cry enough, or you did not show that you're sorry. They would beat you if you sulked too much after a beating. They'd beat you if you eat too much. They'd beat you if you eat too fast. They'd beat you if you eat too little. They'd beat you if you lick your plate and finish the food. So I read this thing, and every millennial in my generation identified, you know?
Yes.
There was a sleeper waiting for every aspect of your life.
Yes.
But we all, I noticed that we all remembered this with a nostalgia, sort of a joy, a happiness, because we knew our parents loved us. I know that sounds a bit sick, you know.
Many people cannot relate.
But we translated. That. I mean, I was talking to my classmates and my friends, and we're all laughing because our mothers and fathers were that crazy, and the one thing that was common with them is they would rather finish you than let you perish on your own. That was the funny thing. They would rather wipe you from the face of the earth than let you be messed up. And I feel that in our generation we have stopped caring that much, I think, because sometimes I feel that parents want to be friends of children, want to be popular with their children, fear their children's disfavor or because I remember growing up, you sulk, you don't want to eat food.
Oh my goodness.
You couldn't even sulk. You were not allowed to have feelings. And I'm not advocating for that kind of parenting, but I don't think the opposite is what we should go for either. That apathy.
We have to find a middle position.
So should your child be your friend?
Yes.
And if when you are building friendship with a child, at what point do you compromise your authority? As in, there's a fine line, I would think. How does your child who is your friend then respect you or give you that parental, that difference? Yes.
That's very important. Your child should be your friend. My children are my friends. But the friendship has to, the relationship has to be built, you know, from an early stage.
Yes.
That is a very, very important topic that we normally discuss in parenting, because your friend will always confide in you. They will feel comfortable when they are talking to you. Communication will always be open. There's some parent who, in one of the discussion, made a very important comment and said, I would rather my child runs to me when they are in problems than running to a stranger.
That's nice.
Okay?
So they should find a safe place.
They should find a safe place. But how many children run to their parents?
But sometimes the parents are afraid that if they create too safe a place, it will go to Kamanyiro. How do you...
Yes, but you see, you have, like you said, you really have to
how do you put boundaries?
You have to put boundaries. We are going back to purpose-driven.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We are going back to purpose-driven. We are going back to responsibilities. Okay? I don't want to bring in the child rights issues. But if a child...
Rights come with responsibilities.
Yes, because rights come with
Please
responsibilities.
Bring them in. Yes.
So if your child knows their responsibilities, if your child knows the boundaries, they know how far they can go with certain things, they know where to stop and where not to, then it becomes very easy.
Yes.
So we are talking about love, which conquers all. We are talking about love, but we are talking about discipline as well. And you know that you can discipline in love.
Yes.
Okay? You can discipline in love. You can teach your children how to respect, okay, so they know the boundaries instead of finding a guy, you know. A young boy is addressing a mother and saying,
Guy,
Charlie, Bonga. You know, now that is not really what we are talking about. That's not what we are advocating for. But a friend, having your child become a friend really means that they trust you, they can come to you when they have a question, they can confide in you, they can ask you any kind of question, they can tell you their fears.
Sometimes my children shock me.
Yes. They
ask you a question and you're not ready.
You are not ready.
Yeah.
That's one other point I wanted to make.
How do you handle that?
How prepared are you? Because if you make them friends and they come to you and you are not ready, then you are going to be in problems.
Yes.
Because...
I think I've fallen victim. I have the most curious children.
These days, children know quite a lot.
They even know more than you.
More than
They'll
me.
ask you a thing and you don't even know what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
And so what I normally do when children come to me and they are that smart and they have all these questions, I am always innocent and say, let me think about it, and I'm going to create time so we can talk about it. I allow myself time to think about it before I give them a response. Otherwise, I might end up giving them a wrong. Or,
from your emotions.
From my emotions.
Yes.
Or maybe I might scare them.
Yes.
Give them a response that might scare them or push them further.
Away.
So sometimes when you're not sure of what to say, you just be smart.
Parents, are you listening? Please don't be like me and freak out and get an oxygen deficiency immediately.
Yes.
I had a mistress friend of mine told me that some children were taken to her office for vaping and she didn't even know what vaping was.
Yeah.
And her ignorance did not help her in that situation.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's happening is so many things are being done and are being introduced to our children when we have no idea. But also, we grew up in a completely different environment.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's going to be our next question. When I was 13, there are certain things I didn't hear about. And my 13-year-old person is asking me things that I asked when I was on campus.
Yes.
Or when I was getting married.
Yes.
So it's, how do you balance yourself? How do you keep away from judging that child according to your standards? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know we used to get frustrated when our parents would say, what do you mean you're tired? I walked 14 miles to school every day. We used to tease our parents about that. But now what we're telling our children is, when I was 13, I never thought of boys.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I didn't know what sex was. So what are you doing asking about it? Contraceptives.
A girl comes to you and says, Mommy, is it safe
to use pills? They're not even asking, should I?
Is it safe? And in your mind, you are like, what
have you been doing? That's why I told you that's when you start losing oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you parent for today, not for?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. We have to get out of the box. Recently we were talking about, thinking outside the box.
Yes.
We have to get out, days are gone when we thought we would raise our children the way we were raised.
Very different.
Because, times have changed.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a parent today, you have to be a very, very alert parent. You have to read, okay? You have to research. You have to research. Because you don't know. You have to attend such spaces so you can hear what other parents are. First time I was invited to a parenting seminar, I must confess, I said, what is this? Yes. Who doesn't know how to parent their own child? Oh, no. You have to be open. You have to... And you have to move with them, otherwise they were going to be in 10 kilometers ahead and you will just be at 1 kilometer. Playing catch up. You are playing catch up, okay? And when they come to you one time, second time, and they don't get any kind of support they want, then they are going to go to Google, they are going to go elsewhere where they will not get what you really want them to have. Yeah. So parents, it's a challenge. We have to read, we have to research, we have to be open to discuss these things. And let me tell you, one of the most challenging things I have, discovered with the parents, young parents, they fear to talk about these things, they fear to ask. I have been. Everyone says, I think I can handle. Yes. I think I can handle. But let me tell you, you cannot on your handle alone. Some of these things you need to you need a support system. You need a support system. You need a support group, at least people that are close to you. For those who are into church fellowships or what, you find a group that you can open up to and discuss some of these things. But people who have locked up themselves, I have heard of cases where, there's a lot of incest in families. And people are keeping quiet. People are keeping quiet. Young girls are becoming pregnant and people are dying, you know, inside their homes, the marriages are breaking, the father is blaming the mother is blaming the father. It's too much, and they are all dying in there. So we really have to step out of the box and embrace all these things. They are happening, they are already part of us, and we cannot run away from them. So let us, you know, be open about them. Let's talk about them. I thank you that you are creating this kind of space. Parenting Uganda is doing the same.
Yes.
So let people step out and say, hey,
we can help. I need help. Yes.
And it's okay. Like you're talking about when we are growing up, it used to take a village.
Just take a village, exactly. You'd get such unsolicited advice from everyone.
It used to take a village to raise a child.
Even the village drunkard would give you an opinion.
Exactly. These days, it is a face.
Yes.
Okay?
Actually, we tell people to mind their business.
Thank you.
Yeah. A teacher told me that, a matron of my child told me, I asked her about my daughter, and then she said, hey, these days I'm not sure I want to tell parents what's going on with their daughters, because sometimes when I give feedback, I am literally told to mind my business.
Exactly.
Yes. No, thank you, Lydia. This is very, very pertinent. Our Twitter space listeners, thank you so much for being online. We're excited to see you. We're going to take questions very soon. But one tradition we have is we usually ask our guests to tell us 3 things. One of them must be untrue about themselves. And the people in the chat are supposed to guess which one is untrue and which one is true about you. So I'll give you a few minutes as I ask you the next question to think about it.
3 things?
Yes.
About myself?
Yes. And one must be untrue.
Okay.
Yes, and it's just, you know, how to see how much the audience knows about you.
Okay.
So, Lydia, when it comes to, we've talked about parenting, we've talked about forgiving yourself, we've talked about getting outside your box, doing research, it's a project. But I loved what you said about holidays, because that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Preparing for holidays and the time. And you talked about a very important thing that I think our generation doesn't value as much, the village that is raising these children. Sometimes I took my children to boarding school intentionally because I and my husband realized our children are always in the fence. Yes. When they get out on holidays, maybe it will be because they're going to a parenting class or soccer or whatever, but otherwise they didn't have a social life outside us. Their favorite music was ours. We were shaping everything of theirs. So we took them to boarding school. And one of the most refreshing things for me was for my son to come back and he had his own music taste, his own favorite scriptures, his own, you know, he became a leader. He even chose a sport that we never thought he would play. We put him in the soccer box, you know, he came back a basketballer. My daughter went to school and became a leader and started doing all these things I never thought. And I loved seeing how they evolved away from us. From home. But I also love how when my children sometimes they spend a week or 2 with my mom or with my mother-in-law. And I love how they come back, you know? Yes. Because when I go to their grandmothers, it's so funny. They're like completely different people. Yes. They eat all the food that they would never touch when they're home. You'll see them eating the shawe, the what, like natives, you know? But you bring it to your home, they won't eat it. They won't. Then they are responsible. You know, they're doing things that, you know, you'd otherwise not do. Then they are like, they're protective of their grandmother. The men are like men. And so I've found that there's a village we need in order for that child, the whole child, to come out. So in your experience, since you're the expert, I've just shared an experience. For us with these, what are they called, these small units of families, how do we grow a village? And how do we trust? Because also, you know, we've had the horrors that come from sleepovers and what. So how do we create that village?
I think that is one other thing that we needed to talk about, the aspect of learning.
Yes.
I'm going to take it to that level. When we stay with our children for a long time, we get blinded in seeing their other
side.
Yes. But when you involve
other people,
they are able to see what
we don't see.
Yes. That's why you're saying.
That's a very good point.
Yes, that's why you're saying when you send them to your mom,
they're different.
Yes. Because your mom is looking at them in a different way.
Yes.
Way different from how you see them.
Yes.
When you send, if you have a sister and your sister has a place where they can go and visit, she will look at them in a different way.
Yeah.
When you send them for a parenting camp, like the ones we have had at Parenting Uganda, we look at them differently. So it's a matter of exploring opportunities, but of course you really have to be very careful because some of those, experiences have turned out not to be
wrong. Yeah.
Yes. You send them with an intention and,
it goes the other way.
So you have to pray about it and you also have to plan accordingly.
Keep your eyes.
Exactly. So it is important that we give our children, let's give them space, let them step out.
Yeah.
Okay? Let them step out. There are so many good programs if you become intentional as a parent. There are so many programs right now that your children can benefit from. And sometimes we need to allow them try out things because as parents we have fear.
We want to protect them
my goodness.
From life.
So fearful. You don't even, it's like dropping a child who does not know how to swim in a swimming pool.
Yes.
You almost want to go in with them. So sometimes we have to let them try out things.
Let go.
See how they manage,
Let them fail.
Yes, let them fail. Let them fall down, but they will get up. So it's an important thing that we need to allow our children try. If you have a village, well and good. If you have grandparents, perfect. If you have a brother you trust or a sister you trust, that is very good. Gone are the days, and I don't want to say gone are the days, but that's what it is like right now, where extended family used to be so supportive.
Yes, actually.
Okay? Extended family. Where
now we have units.
Now we have units. Now we are so,
Even the units are broken.
They are. So you find the child is, the person they know is you.
You're their world.
Yes. And then guess what happens? Because you are their world, they are your world, you end up stressing each other.
Oh, you're really preaching today. Yeah.
You end up, stressing each other. Your expectations are that level. You have this child in mind you want to raise, and the child is taking this direction.
Sometimes women have children parenting their parents.
Exactly.
Because maybe parents, and my daughter told me about a friend of hers whose parents are divorcing, and his sister is very sick. So he is so overwhelmed with responsibility. He is in boarding school, but his heart is breaking. He's just thinking about home. He can't concentrate. And this is a child, but he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And I think it's because sometimes we put too much responsibility on the children.
So the issue of building relationships comes in. Okay, they are learning, but they are also building relationships out of these units.
Yes.
Okay.
You said.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
We need to. This is one other thing I've found out that parents fear. We fear to let our children make relationships. We want to determine friends.
Yeah.
We want to
determine who they will befriend.
But let me tell you, if you don't allow your child if you don't allow your child to step out and maybe make that mistake, they will try it out when they are no longer
with you,
and it will be fatal.
Yes.
So release them.
Let them make the mistake and come back
but
to you.
keep an eye. But when they make a mistake, be quick to call them back and correct them, rather than confining them and thinking that it is safe. It's not safe at all. It can never be.
You can't keep them from life. You know, you said something about parents being friends with their children. Now, sometimes being friends, and I think I've seen this especially when it comes to life. Your marriage is breaking.
Yeah.
Does being a friend mean you tell the child about how do you discuss these difficult things? And I'm saying this because a lot of marriages are breaking or they're going through hard things like they would.
Separation.
Our parents were just really superhuman at hiding things. I mean, people used to find out their parents are separated even later,
Yeah.
you know, because they would find a way of doing things. But we are not that equipped, maybe.
That's strong anymore.
So, yeah, that's strong anymore. So a lot of things are happening, and in the so-called friendship with the children, they take on too much. They know how broken mommy is. They know how broken daddy is. They feel the siblings. They're trying to protect the siblings. Now this is the firstborn, and there's also the issue of orphans. There are also children that are being parented in homes where they don't have biological parents. So they are trying to protect their siblings from whatever is happening, the step environment or the foster environment. How do we preserve their innocence in a way?
And protect them.
Yes.
I'll talk about one thing. We become selfish when we get into these situations. You know that your relationship with your husband is not going on well, and you actually know that, you know, at the end of it all, you're going to separate.
Yes.
But you want to drag the children.
You want them to choose a side.
Yeah. We become so selfish. You know, we put our fights, you know, we just bring our fights to these children, and they are still too young. We don't know how they are going to handle it. We don't know how it is going to affect them, but we don't want to know about that.
We want to, it's for us.
It's for us.
Yes.
It's for us. It's me. Can't you see I'm hurt? Can't you see your father hurt me? Can't you see your mother hurt me? I don't know, there are so many ways. I cannot say there's one way to doing these things, but most times parents who have agreed to protect their children have actually managed well.
That's excellent. You know, I'm a child of parents who are separated.
Yes.
But they've always protected us.
Yes.
We've never felt their pressure.
Yes.
That's
So,
a very good example.
Your anger aside, your
But that's
stress
hard.
aside, it is very hard.
So how can a parent who's going through that get support? Because I don't think you can do it alone. I don't think you can make some of those sane decisions alone. When you're in pain, you're alone.
Yeah. Like I said, we talked about it before and said when you really feel you can't do it alone, seek for help rather than sacrificing your children. There's always help.
Yes.
There's always help somewhere. Rather than saying, you know, let me do it, you know what, you drag the children into it and everyone, it's like I don't care, things have gone bad. It ends up ugly. So it is okay to seek for help. It is okay if you are to talk to the children, which you must do. You must make sure that you look for an opportune time when both of you are sober.
That is rare in a season of separation.
But when you have your children, you know, we normally have these slogans of put your children first. Okay?
Yes.
Amidst all this, think
Put
about your children.
first, yes.
So if me and you are getting into a conflict and we see things are not well, let us know how to separate this
from the children.
And for the sake of our children, we can sit and say, we have something to talk to you about. Okay? You can even rehearse it. You can even... And I know testimonies of I mean, you have just said it. Your parents protected you.
Yes,
and up to today, you're still grateful.
Yes.
So if you manage to do it, someone else can do it. It's hard, but let us learn how to to protect our children, okay? Because these things happen.
That's beautiful. I like how you sell hope. You're really giving us hope. And for any parents out there who think maybe they've been through a difficult time and maybe they've wounded their children, Lydia also said something fantastic. Remember, today we are speaking about how to celebrate, learn, and prepare for holiday breaks. And she said that if you missed a stage in your child's life, or if you messed up, there's time. Time is going to give you a chance to repair that, and I really thank you for that. I think that's the most powerful, most hopeful message that you've given us today. So Lydia, what are the 3 things that you're going to tell us about you? So our listeners can choose whether it's a lie or the truth.
Okay. The first one is, I love children. The second one is, I'm a fast driver.
Oh, wow.
The third one, I can be big-headed.
You can be big-headed. So Lydia is a fast driver. She loves children, and she can be really big-headed and stubborn.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, please, you're going to find a poll on the page. Please make sure that you tell us what is true about Lydia. Is she big-headed? Is she a fast driver? Or does she love children? Please let us know what you think about Lydia so we can assess how true you think this is. You do it in the chats. We're going to be doing a bit of a poll. So again, coming back to where we are right now, one of the things that I have read about you is you're passionate about you. Oh, okay, now I'm selling.
You are now.
And
that's okay.
And you're a grandmom.
Yes.
How do you? How can I say it? How do you transition? I think for me, this is another stage of parenting.
Yes.
How do you transition from mothering your children to now grandmothering? I mean, those are different stages. And I think parenting changes when your children become adults.
Yeah.
So those transitions from childhood to teenagehood, teenagehood to adulthood, how do you handle transitions? And I know you've already told us to do a lot of research, but how would you advise a parent to handle a transition?
Wow. Grandparenting.
It doesn't have to be grandparenting, but you know what I mean, those stages.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me talk about my experience with my grandchildren.
Yes.
I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to
So
me.
you're spoiling them to death.
And what I like is that I'm spoiling, and then the parents have to
discipline. You know, my mom does that to me. So all the parents here should look forward to grandparenting. It's your revenge on your children.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then I like it when the parents are coming, their parents are coming and say, don't do this.
Don't give them sugar.
Don't give them sugar. Oh my God, stop it. And I'm like, okay.
Even you.
But
it shows you another side to your children.
It's amazing.
When you're seeing them in the parenting
Let me
bracket.
tell you what I'm doing. I'm starting a grandparenting group.
Oh, that's beautiful.
As part of parenting.
Yes.
I want to bring together grandparents so that
I'll recruit my mother.
so that we can also have our moments of talking about this, because
Yes.
it's an amazing experience.
Yes.
Talking about transition. And transition into, in parenting is almost the same, like when you're transiting from any kind of stage. Okay. If you used to live single and now you're learning to live with someone,
yes,
okay, that is transition. If you used to live in your parents' house and now you're going to live alone, that is transiting. Even us now, as we become old, okay, I'm almost retiring, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking about retiring, and it's going to be
too
a
young,
huge
Lydia.
transition. Not really. That is going to be another transition.
Yes.
But what I have liked about parenting these young people is that I have a lot of experience, okay, to look to. And there are those mistakes that I did as a parent that I don't want
your children to repeat.
My children to repeat. There are those things that our parents did to us when they were raising us. Some were good and I want them
to be passed on.
But some were not good and I wouldn't really want.
You would want them to end with you.
Exactly. If I went through that, I don't want my grandchildren to go.
Yeah.
So it's the same advice I'm giving to parents out there. If you're transiting in this journey of parenting,
yes,
look at your experience, okay? And try and do better. If
audit it.
Audit,
yeah.
Exactly, that's the right word.
Yes.
You audit it and see what you need to carry forward and what you need not
to leave behind.
Exactly. And number 2 is to make sure that you are open to learning new things and you are able to, you are flexible.
You adapt.
You adapt.
Yes.
Okay?
That's tough.
It is tough. I'll give you an example what many people are struggling with, parents right now, the feeding of children. It is a huge issue.
You had children who were not eating, now they're eating out of house and home.
Yeah. And these days, you know, thinking of what to feed your children from Monday to Monday.
It's a headache. But maybe that's a whole .com thing of meal plans and stuff. You can buy a sack of posho beans. Okay, please, parents, don't listen to me. You know?
Yeah, but I think it is important.
Pressure.
What I can say before we continue is that...
So what are those tips? I think give some tips to parents out there.
About?
What are we going to do with feeding teenagers and managing our budgets?
Yes.
Do you have any hacks?
Yes, but for starters, Fiona,
yes,
let's talk to these children. They really understand, and let them be part of
the meal planning.
The meal planning. They know. The problem is that we don't want to involve them.
And we hide things.
We hide things. All they know is that that bag is full of money. For you, you have money, so they are going to put
fridge
in
must have milk, bread.
Yes. But have you thought about sitting with them and making a meal plan?
That's a very good
and talking about what you're going to eat for a whole week, and if you ate this last week, what are we eating this week? Move together. There's nothing that solves problems like when a family is planning together.
That
communicating.
is wonderful.
Rather than me seeing daddy come with a kavera out of the can, I don't know what it is, and they open, you see them open like this, and they're like...
He brought a fish.
When actually they didn't want it.
Yes. Oh, so, that is true. And it can be so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you go through so much to get what you think is precious.
Yeah.
And then they'll look at you like this.
Let's have... I am one of those old parents, like what we were talking about, who used to hold family meetings. I don't know whether they still happen. Do they still happen?
I'm learning from you now.
And I think I have records of those minutes.
Oh, you used to make minutes?
Yes.
How
and the
old were your children?
They were young. They can testify.
Family. So who was the secretary?
Yes, one would be a secretary. They would rotate.
Okay, I'm learning so much.
A secretary,
if
another one would be a chair,
put it in
and
the
then
chat.
they would contribute to the agenda, and we would. And for me, that was
so one would even be a chair.
Yes,
it would rotate.
Yes, they would rotate, and those would be our disciplining moments, and the children would discipline each other. Not us coming out to, to read out sentences, yes. Okay? They would discipline each other. They would share the chores in the house themselves. Yeah. One would say, if we did this last time, be the one to do this time. So it's the same thing with meals. It's the same thing with, washing dishes. It's the same thing cleaning the compound, washing cars and doing all those things. So planning for me does it. Purpose driven. We know what we have to do as a family, and we must work together. And dad and mom are not exceptional.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's why you're saying that I talk tough.
You talk very tough, but I like it. I like what you've said about planning together, and I like the family meeting business and the rotating chairs. I think that's also a way of growing leaders. I mean,
exactly.
If your son or daughter grow up in such a family, then it's going to be easy for them to parent, because you're already teaching them how to parent.
And do you know how it happened?
They will do as they
I
saw.
could tell you briefly how it happened.
Yes.
They used Saturdays.
Yes.
Is the time when we would also sleep in. Mom and dad want some time. You know, you wake up every day, 5 o'clock.
You're running.
You are running. You come back late. You have homework. So Saturdays, it would be a time when we would wake up
late.
Maybe not that late, but at least you are not waking up that early. And then early in the morning, the kids sit in the sitting room as they are doing their homework, because that used to be the routine. They get a paper and write there what they want to do over the weekend, and they slip it under the door.
Hey, that was clever.
Very. They would slip it under the door. So we wake up, we find a list. Today, swimming, this and this. We're checking on so and so. We're doing this, and this is what we want to eat. So they did it once, twice, and said, let's have this meeting so that they stop this business of slipping papers under our doors.
So your children initiated this
They initiated it.
Yeah.
See, what we were saying, that they know all these things, but sometimes we don't give them a platform. We don't give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's how the meeting started.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lydia. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not seeing your responses yet. We said that we were doing what? Oh, just a second. We said we were doing a poll. How many of you believe that Lydia is a fast driver? How many of you believe that she is stubborn? And how many of you believe that she loves children? Please let us know in the chat. Our space is almost at a close. I would like to ask if any of you have questions on the Twitter space. Please do let us know, and then we'll let you ask your question. Just ask for the microphone. Just tap on your mic so that the host can then open up for you. You can also put your question in the chat or your comment. We are discussing holiday breaks, how to celebrate, learn, and prepare. So Lydia,
we didn't talk about celebrations.
Celebrations, please. No, you said something. You said that we should celebrate them and show them that we're happy. But please tell us about celebrations.
Celebrations.
Yes. Why is it making you sigh?
Celebration with the young ones is easy.
Yes.
Okay, when you have the babies,
yes,
the under 10s, that is
it's easy. Just
but how,
sugar and color.
But how do you celebrate with teenagers?
I know, I'm there, so I'm listening very avidly right now.
How do you celebrate with the teenagers?
Yes.
That's an interesting one. I normally draw from my experience, but with teenagers, I got challenges with them. Every time it would be their birthday, they would want to step out with their friends. This business of buying gifts stopped because they want to buy for themselves.
They want the money.
They want the money.
They can be challenging.
You don't want to give them money. You don't want to release them to go out there and start buying things. Then when you ask them for what they want, they start asking for things that you are not even comfortable with. But so that was, I also got challenges with that. But for me, celebrating, I would basically look at, thanking them on a daily basis for what they have been able to achieve. The achievements, basically. Many times we think celebration is birthdays, is something that is happening around, but young people want to be recognized.
Affirmed.
If your daughter had you telling me how good she is at arranging her room and maybe helping the grandmother and maybe helping you arrange your wardrobe or something, it boosts them so much.
Energy.
Yeah, that is celebrating them really. You're giving them, you're making their star shine bright, okay?
Instead of telling the whole village what they're doing wrong.
What they're doing wrong. If you went to school on a class day and you found them, I mean, they have excelled and they have done so well and, you know, they have performed well, you know, thanking them and reaching home maybe in that meeting or at a dinner table, and you mention it and you make everyone get to know about it around, they feel so good. So it is celebrating their achievements. Right now we are talking about children who have finished primary 7. There are those who are going to complete senior 4 and senior 6.
You shouldn't wait for the results.
Don't wait for the results. Say, I am not going to do anything until the results come out. Then you put them on pressure. But man, they have really done their best. They have finished a stage. So celebrate every milestone. Celebrate every achievement. And make sure that they get to know that you are celebrating them. And tell, you know, sometimes they want you to tell your family members about it so that you don't keep it to yourself. So our poll is showing that nobody thinks you're big-headed, so that they say that is the so, and they're saying that the second lie is that you drive fast. So it's like almost all the
two lies. So they all believe that you did the, what is it called? They all believe that you love children. And none of them believes that you're stubborn or that you drive fast. So Lydia is going to do that great reveal. Ta-da-da-da. What is true? What is a lie?
I love children so much. So all that voted about that are correct. I love children.
I think I also gave it away.
I am a very fast driver.
She is a fast driver. Oh my God, you all. All of you have failed.
I actually rest.
Charity, if you are a girl, you don't know her this well. You need to spend more time.
Even Charity knows the kind of car that I drive.
She said you don't drive fast.
Yes, and I'm not big-headed.
And you're not big-headed.
I'm very soft.
Everybody said they believed that was the lie. So I think our viewers and listeners have your number. They sort of get you. And I haven't seen any questions. I think, Lydia, you have more than answered all my questions. You've really done a fantastic thing. If somebody wants parenting classes, if somebody wants to go to Parenting Uganda, where do we find you? And what is Parenting Uganda about anyway? I mean, you just mentioned it, but just let us know a bit about what you do.
They can get us on social media. These days, you can reach us on social media. But
so what services do you offer?
We offer our main services, basically parenting classes. We engage with parents. We are open for parents. Any parent that needs any kind of support, we are there to help. And not that because we have answers, we don't have all the answers, but parents have answers themselves.
You just help them find them.
Yes, we just find them. We help them find each other. We create spaces for them where they can sit. Like Charity normally calls it, you know, remove the mask and be who you are. Okay? Don't mask up and then pretend, be tough and say, I'm managing, I'm parenting. So we create, you know, a platform where parents can come and talk about parenting issues. My other area of strength is in early childhood development. Raising a child holistically. That's maybe in summary what I can say. Looking not only on academics, but the social aspect of it, the spiritual aspect of it, the psychosocial and all other things.
So
mentally.
How do you deliver that? Is it counseling services?
We do counseling services, but with God's help, we have been able to plant early childhood development centers.
Oh, you have centers?
Yes, where parents can bring children below the age of 6. And then when we receive them, we help them with speech, we help them with feeding, we help them if your child is not feeding well, if they are malnourished, if you yes, in a kind of struggle, if they are not walking, they are not talking, they are not feeding, okay, we make learning easy. Actually, our slogan in that is that we learn through play. So they are like play centers, but children come and they learn almost
so
everything.
They're like daycares?
Yes.
Okay.
Beyond daycares, because we attend to them according to ages. Yes. So
where do you have some of these centers? Could you just mention?
Yes, here in Kampala. In Kampala we have them, and right now the newest that we have established is in Nalia in the estate, and I just live in Nalia, and I discovered there was a need.
We are going to, on the Fidelis Leadership pages and the Fat Talks pages, we're going to show you where these centers are. Yeah. So you can take your little children that are in early childhood development.
Come play,
so let them learn through play.
And learn.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you have parenting issues, or if you have social issues that are affecting your parenting, I think you need to look for Parenting Uganda on all social pages, but also they have a website.
Yes, we have a website.
Yes.
So it is parents, it is young children below 6, and then the teens and the youth.
Okay, so they also have services for the teens and the youth. Yeah. Lydia, it's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. You have? I'm glad. Because I have not only enjoyed, I wish I had a notebook, but this is recorded, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to stay on the Twitter space. It never goes away.
Yes.
And we're going to have it on YouTube, on our Fat Talks page, and on the Fidelis Leadership page. And we should also put probably a link on Parenting Uganda page so that you see what Lydia was up to. Yeah. I want to thank everybody who's been listening to us. Cornelius is giving 100. Cornelius, you want to say something? You're really loving this. I like the energy. Thank you, Caroline, Albert, Bertha, Charlotte, Charity, Francis. There's so many people who've been online. Thank you so much for being online.
Thank you, House of Love. There are a couple of them that I know.
Oh, there's some comments. I'm sorry, forgive me. I hadn't seen some. On YouTube, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Just give me a second as I get these questions from YouTube.
Yes.
Charity has a question on how to help teens with drug addiction. And Charity also says, thank you, Lydia. And Fiona, you reminded me of John Maxwell's. He says, leaders are merchants of hope. Yes, Lydia has really sold us hope today. But as you please answer Charity's question on how to help teens with drug addiction.
That is an interesting one. A while ago, before we started this discussion, we were talking about my son D. Rain, who has started a restoration center in Bunga.
Yes.
And I will recommend that you invite him and give him time so he can talk about this.
Yes, we actually plan to.
D-Rain, if you're listening, that would be a good opportunity for you to share a lot of information.
How to recover. Yes.
But one thing in this short time I can say is that if you have a son or a daughter that is struggling, don't give up on them. One of the things that really worked for me as a parent who went through that was love, that I never gave up on my son.
That's beautiful.
I kept my arms open, and every time they would come home, they would know they are coming home to a mother that loved them, to a father that loved them, and we would never judge them. The challenge out there is that when these children get into these problems, parents become desperate.
Yes.
And they want to see change overnight. They don't
reject.
They want to reject them. You see how you have embarrassed us as a family. Why are you taking us through all this? But a family that has kept together, praying for such children, welcoming them and assuring them of their love and support, their children have recovered and have come back home. So to me, it is love. That's the first medicine, love. Love these children.
Yes.
Don't judge them.
Somebody actually has said that they believe you are stubbornly loving their son Agnes, that you cannot love and deal with babies and you're not stubborn. Go on.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
So I already finished. Yeah.
No, but thank you so much.
Then these other medical interventions can come in
yes,
later, but just make sure your children does not lose identity. If there's anything that is really bad, Fiona, is making your child lose their identity.
What do you mean?
Rejection.
Rejection. Wow, rejection goes to the root of someone's identity.
Once they lose
especially
that,
from their family.
Exactly. You will never see them.
You know, my husband told me something. He said mothers are very important in a boy's life. He said that every man needs to know that there is one woman who thinks he is perfect.
Exactly.
Who will always be there.
Yes. And
they don't think their wife is going to be that person. So their mother had better be that person. So I think that mothers have a big role. And I think fathers, girls also need to know there's one man in this world who loves them unconditionally. Yes, unconditionally. That's beautiful. I want to tell you there's so much praise here. House of Dirain, yeah, says amazing points. House of Dirain, we're going to host you next. They've pointed us directly to you. Lavan Joshua, very helpful. Mugisha Bruno, to raise purpose-driven children, you have to have a purpose as well. Mugisha Bruno says it's very powerful. Thank you for that. Jonah Adong says it's very humble to listen to you. Albert and Saba says thank you so much. This is what he needed to hear before becoming parents. Charlotte Quitonda says thank you for the meaningful discussion. Bruno says he likes that there will always be opportunities. That thing you said, that hope that you've sold us. Maria Presson appreciates you for this, while Shadia Lutaya says, thank you so much. It's better for children to step out and face the reality than for us to overprotect them. Wow. Gasana Agnes is very excited about grandparents. I don't know that she's near, but she said, thank you, Kaka, so she must be a grandchild. That's then my daughter. Charlotte Quitonda says, she's looking forward to grandparenting. Oh, I'm inspiring so you have inspired people. I mean, the people are not sure they want children. Now you inspire people to have grandchildren. That's right. So Nanyunga Rachel says, thank you for the valuable information, while Marcia Tirinda says, thank you so much. We're learning so much. I have learned so much. Jessica Ineza says, the best parent ever. Oh, stars. Thank you. Yes. Then we have Jessica Ineza again, who says you love children and that it shows Senomo TV. Oh, there's a whole TV saying glory to God for this. And one of the things that has excited people is Gasana Agnes is asking, how do you stay calm when the little ones make so much noise? I think that's very important. Let's end with that question. Really? Yes. You give me your experience. Well, personally, I really love children. That's right. I like it when they're making noise. But you know, when you are a mom of children who make noise, you usually have the ability to outshout them. Although I wouldn't advise you to yell at them. Yeah. But sometimes what I do, I don't know whether it's advisable, is I will give them a place to vent. So I'll usually send them outside. I believe children are like plants. They need sunshine, they need to run, they need to ride their bikes. So if they're in the house making noise, out. You go out. You don't run in the house, you go out. So my solution was always to send them out. They outshout themselves. When they're outside, I don't mind how much noise they're making. But then sometimes you have the really little ones who have pent up energy. Yeah. So there was this balloon, there are these little balloons, stand-up balloons that they can box.
Yes.
Because I had little boys and I didn't know what to do with them because they had so much energy. So I'd give them these stand-up balloons, and this child will box it, stand on it, ride it, do all. Then by the end of the day, just collapses and is happy.
Yes.
So what I think is, with little children that have pent-up energy, give them opportunities to release it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you keep them bottled up, I don't know that it's a good thing. But
it's not a
we
good
have the
thing.
experts.
I think too much noise is communicating something. I think when you're with children,
it's a cry for attention.
when you're with children, you really have to be alert and to get all the signals.
Yes.
Sometimes it's attention. Sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes they are trying to say something that maybe
you're not listening.
You are not listening. So you really have to, your antennas have to be like this all the time to know exactly what they are saying. The babies I have in the house, I know the different types of noise.
Thank you. Even the cries.
Yes, I know the different types of noise. I know the cries, so I'm able to.
So you need to understand. But I also found, especially raising babies, that when you are a very attentive parent, your children won't even cry as much.
Yeah.
Because you know the cries. So you know if they do, it's hunger.
Yeah.
And you've already, if you put them like, you understand, like you have, my mother raised us, we always had breakfast, then maybe there's a little meal there, then lunch, then, so I found that when those little meals are there, the cries will never be of hunger.
That's right.
It's a discomfort of another form.
Yeah.
But
so let me give you an example. Like I'm here now.
Yes.
I won't be able to pick them from the play group.
Yes.
So when I reach home, I'm telling you, the first 30 minutes, it's going to be attention
Everyone
seeking.
wants your attention.
So the best thing I can do is to sit on the mat with them, and you avoid talking when you're here and they are here. So sit and then let them. They are going to talk non-stop, like
for 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes, everyone wants to tell you what happened at school. This one wants to tell you how they were hurt. Another one tells you what they ate. Another one tells you about a friend. And you sit, you make sure there's calm, you give each and everyone an opportunity. Sometimes you want them to hug so you can fall. You fall, it's okay. Once you have done that, you see them going to their... So.
Wow, Gassan, I hope they've answered your question. First of all, read the sound.
Yes.
Read the noise and give them time. And then when you figure out that it's maybe play, give them release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lydia. It's been amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fat talk. We've been talking about celebrating and preparing for the holiday season. To the holiday makers, we want to celebrate you. We want to tell you that, yes, you've been through a grueling period. Please celebrate yourselves. Keep safe. We need you alive. Be responsible. Have responsible fun.
Yes.
Ask for help. If your parents don't know how to parent you, please teach them.
Yes.
Because these days children know more sometimes than parents. And I want to encourage parents out there, there's no mistake that is fatal for as long as your child is alive.
Yes.
And Lydia says love is the answer. Yes. Love, love, love. Do not make the mistake of rejecting and affecting the identity of your child. Right. So thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much, Smart24. It's been fantastic, and looking forward to the next Smart24 Fat Talk that we're going to have with the Fidelity Leadership Institute on Thursday, 4 p.m. We're always here, East African time, and I want to thank everybody who's been online, on YouTube and on Twitter Spaces. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I've learned so much, and I hope that next time I think we're going to have this probably once a year. Because,
no problem.
So that we can, because I also want to hear about the retirement when it happens, this transition.
Yes.
But I've really learned so much. Thank you so much, and I want to thank you on behalf of the parents that are online. Thank you, our listeners, because you make us what we are. Remember, we need to raise purposeful, purpose-driven children who are faithful to their values, who are available to society, and who are teachable in their reputation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Fiona. That was really good.
R24, driving business.
Ndeka wena mulamu. Otyo. Mbakemye rubona. Mubaire muri kolati.
Ndide kulagira ono ngeri gyebawayo kumbaga ya mwene ngwakozesa momope.
Eisimu eriwa gye buliko.
Tola yesimu wena nakobya ironi geisimu tobulira.
Eisimu yini?
Ni gasita ndala mukaga 5 sita 3 otewe ashi onige yesi. Balese chawo.
Balese merchant code gye balisaba. Mama kadi bati.
Kayo buzono wachi tamu nsanvu 3
balisaba.
Tamu esente lewe.
Amount. Baleta mobile money.
Mobile money.
Balikunsa bapini.
Ebucha utampiniyo.
Iwa imwe sasula.
Aye baba embaga ya mwene mwekuwoniza.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cashback every week. It's free of charge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
People call me Koja Maraka.
Welcome to Love Uganda Limited.
Where we fix the hearts.
My wife, you'll see her head and you'll think, oh no.
Money have for real.